I want to talk about the breaking housing market index we just had moments ago from the NAHB. And look who we have with us. It's Jerry Howard. He's the president of the National Association of Home Builders. Jerry, builder confidence is sort of unchanged from where it was in February. But do you feel like maybe the industry is starting to rebound here a little bit?
I think there's an air of caution right now, Charles. Obviously, we think we're going to rebound because we always start to get better as spring comes and the building season approaches. But we still have issues with labor supply. We still have issues with the cost of building materials. And just as importantly right now, we're starting to pick up that some of the banks are getting a little more tight when it comes to making loans to builders for what we call acquisition, development, and construction lending. Your report was one of the first to me that indicated the return of animal spirits after President Trump's election. It was the traffic part of it. It went to expansion for the first time. It had been like maybe 10 years. More recently, though, it's gone back under 50, the whole traffic part. What's going on with the consumer, with the potential home buyer? Housing affordability, it's that simple. 6 years ago, 8 out of 10 homes on the market were affordable by the average prospective buyer. Right now, it's down to 50%. Housing affordability is at its lowest it's been in 10 years, and it's attributable directly to what I just mentioned: labor, the cost of materials, and the cost of financing. What about the starter home, though? I mean, it's particularly difficult in the starter home for a builder to be able to build, comply with the cost of regulation. And in some parts of the country, regulation is as much as 40% of the cost of construction.
Right. I was going to ask you on regulation. That seems to be the biggest block of all, especially in states like California. In San Diego County is what I was referring to. That it's 40% of the cost of construction. Is that a reason why we're not as mobile a nation as we used to be? It's down 50% mobility in America from the 1990s. Is it affordability or what? Why I think that's certainly one of the components to it. You have your home, you've got it financed, you're secure. You can't afford to move out. You can't afford even to move up in some instances. Jerry, stay right there because I want to share this story with the audience. Senator Elizabeth Warren newly released housing plan. Ashley, you've got some of those details.
Yeah, it's not going to be cheap, I'll tell you that. The housing plan for America it is. Her basic contention, Senator Warren, is there's just not enough housing for middle-class and lower-income families, both on the purchasing side and also on the renting side. Because of the lack of, in both areas, prices are going up. So her idea is to, well, guess what? Tax the wealthy. Let the ultra-wealthy pay for a massive investment to build more homes, to bring rents down and allow families to buy their first home. She says that she would do this by the estate taxes. She says right now people only pay taxes on $22 million or up. She says I would bring that threshold down to $7 million. She says it was at that level when George W. Bush left office, and then raise taxes above the threshold from there on. She says basically by asking 14,000 wealthy families, she says, a year to pay just a bit more, we can reduce rents by 10% for millions of families and also create 1.5 million new jobs. So 14,000 wealthy families to pay.
Jerry, I don't know about you, but that reminds me of the old voodoo economics. I mean, does it make sense to you? It's tax Peter to pay for Paul. I agree with Senator Warren. We need to build more housing, but the way to do it is reduce regulations and free up the private sector to do what we do best. The cost of this bill is so incredibly high. I just can't see it getting through. And I got to tell you, representing small businesses, I have a fundamental problem with the estate tax anyway. Most of our members are family-owned businesses that get passed generation to generation. And a lot of times it's the first time someone in that generation ever made enough money. And what do you do? You punish them by taking it away. But I would bring Samantha back in because you say the millennials are hot. They're ready to go. You need to probably talk to Jerry in the green room after this. But Elizabeth Warren, how much government involvement should there be?
Well, it's kind of crazy because I was reading a statistic that families are spending over 30% of their income on rent. That's an insane statistic. That means what about savings? What about just spending on other things?
These are rent traps, though. People want to live in Manhattan. You're going to spend a lot of money on rent.
Right. So I don't know if there's any plan that's going to make sense. I mean, you have to find the money from someone, from somewhere to make this all work. But it's just nuts to me that, you know, we're supposed to be the land with opportunity and people can't even afford to be able to live here. I mean, it's just crazy to me.
Steve, I want to get your thoughts on this.
The key thing is regulation, whether it's rent control or crazy codes that make these things unnecessarily expensive. Liberate it, and by golly, you'll find all sorts of housing, or as they once say, all sorts of pocketbooks. And we do it in autos. No reason why we can't do it in housing. And as for Senator Warren, she confuses assets with cash. You put a tax on an asset, guess what? It goes down in value.
Right.
101, but she hasn't learned that
yet. The good news is the older millennials actually saw home ownership improve at the best pace in more than 5 years in the fourth quarter, so it might be coming around. Samantha DiBianchi, Jerry Howard, you guys are fantastic. Thank you both.